Good evening, Angus.
Evening, Luke. How are you going, mate?
Fantastic evening to all our BQB fans. Up to episode 15.
15. And my mum said it couldn't be done.
Yeah. Well, she was probably right, but shouldn't be done or couldn't be done. What was the
Maybe said shouldn't. Yeah, maybe
maybe
you're right.
shouldn't. Oh well, thanks everyone sticking with us. The group seems to be growing and still getting some good stuff. So, have you got a beer?
I do have beer. I got Sea Legs West Coast IPA.
Oh, very nice. I like the new packaging, the new artwork.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm having a Hofer, uh,
Hoffa,
Hefeweizen,
hoffa.
Hefeweizen, the grapefruit. Yeah.
Nice.
I don't think
What
I've
I'm
had.
not having, but I will be drinking in about 6 months. This is
Ooh,
a bottle of my Belgian triple. And I
how did
thought
it
it'd be
smell?
fancy and cork it.
Oh, very nice.
Bit fancy.
How did
Pain
it
in the ass,
smell?
but Um, it's certainly all the yeast stuff that I was getting that cleaned up. I'm thinking that I'll probably um put in four times more. I put in 5 grams of the lemon myrtle. I think this next time I'll put in 20 because there's not much there. I mean, it may lift a little bit more when it carbonates, and you tend to get a bit more aroma coming out of it there. But I think I have to imagine that it's there. So I think next time I'll put in 20 grams and see how that goes.
Yeah, nice. Oh well, we'll see how that one turns out. So in beer news, oh, first of all, how's your West Coast?
Good. Could be a little bit more danker for my liking for a West Coast. It's just missing that kind of real dank, piney bitterness that the real old school West Coasties had. But the hops are really fresh and like the really nice aroma.
Yeah, I was just reading the can. I was actually surprised. This one's only 2.5% ABV. So it's just that
Oh,
really,
yeah.
it really sort of like a spring picnic sort of beer. Just that nice, refreshing, a little bit of sweetness from the grapefruit, but that's a cracker. It's sort of like a Radler, I guess, a version of a Radler, um,
Yeah.
but with grapefruit instead of lemon or lime. It's yeah, no, that's
Well,
really
I think Hefeweizens are normally lower ABVs, aren't they?
uh not that
Or
I
classic style anyway. No.
possibly, yeah, yeah. I don't know that one, but I could be wrong. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
really nice. So in beer news, Deeds Brewery finally has a new name with its new owners. It's now called Happy Camper, which I thought that was a fun name for it. But I've seen a couple of sort of discount beer sites still trying to flog off all the rest of the last of the Deeds beers.
Deep stuff.
I'd be really worried about the dates on some of those, but there must have been a bit of inventory left when they closed their doors. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and their beers wouldn't tend to hold all that well, would they?
the big
The
ones would, like the imperial stouts, like the once more into the fray, which is an absolute go to every year on release beer. I don't think they'd have any problems. Those ones lasting for a while, but all their lagers and drafts and things like that, they'd be getting a bit long in the tooth now. I'd say.
Mm.
Happy to be wrong, but just with the timing, because I still see some like Newstead beers discounted around the place too. So I think they'd be getting a bit long in the tooth now as well. Next
Yeah.
up, um, Bath House have released some of their new liquid hop products called Euphorics. From what I understand, they're a blend of liquid hops and botanicals, which are water soluble, of course. Flavors like cosmic guava and pineapple paradise, um, furthering developing the sort of terpene flavor search that's going on at the moment. They're added cold side after fermentation to give a real big boost to
Hmm.
the flavor profile. Is it cheating? Maybe. I don't know. It's interesting. I'd like to try a beer that's using these euphorics. I think Filter is one of the first breweries who have used it. Um, it just, yeah, just these all these flavor products and terpene products and all that just seem to be the flavor of the month. No pun intended. And it sounds like an interesting way to boost the flavor at the very last stage before packaging.
Yeah, but does it qualify under the Reinheitsgebot? Probably
Uh,
not.
Nine. No, no, that definitely not. I also had Long Point Brewing Co. Are looking for a foundation head brewer for their upcoming brewery. It's an interesting story. It's a 500 seat 2-story brew pub yet to be built in Kennedy Bay in WA, and it's the first time I've heard of a brew pub being planned and built not having a brewer first.
Yeah,
Don't
it's interesting. Normally think these things are kind of led by someone who's brewing and is
wants to
managing the business
expand.
because
Yeah,
they have to.
yeah.
Um, I
Obviously, they've
suppose
gone
from
around a different way. Yeah.
yeah, I guess maybe that's the easiest piece of the puzzle to solve. Like maybe the hard bits are licensing and local council and getting all that stuff over the line. So maybe a brew isn't the hardest thing to find.
Mm. Maybe the whole story is they wanted to make a venue which happened to have a brewery in it. So they're an entertainment or a tourism forward. I haven't heard much of Long Point Brewing Co., but
Mm.
it's the first time I've heard of a brew pub that didn't start with the brew part.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
always,
even like doing some contract brewing or gypsy brewing, that to get the brand around. Yeah,
yeah, different
it's a
way.
different way.
Yeah. You had the Moreton Bay Food and Wine Festival coming up.
Yeah, they look pretty cool. There was a mention on there of some craft beers being available. I couldn't find any information, so I figure that's just kind of just the normie craft beers are available there. What was interesting was they had a whole bunch of master classes and workshops on. So I'll just look at my list. Um, yeah, so American bourbon, American whiskey, Scotch whiskey, tequila, cocktail making, and obviously a whole bunch of wine and cheese pairings, barbecue workshops. So it seemed pretty cool. So even if we're not going to be satisfied as craft beer nerds, there's still a whole bunch of other stuff going on, which seemed pretty cool.
I've um I've worked that festival a couple of times in my previous role, and it is the most picturesque sort of. You're walking along the water's edge along a big path, and you have all the stalls, and then at the end there's like a stage. And in regards to craft beers, like they've had Gauge Roads there, they've had Tribe was there doing all of their
Yeah.
different brands that Tribe do. Diablo ginger beer seems to always pop up there. But the last time I went, there was like a VIP ticket where you got like a cabana next to the water, and you got free drinks all day. And the people were by the end of the event, it was quite embarrassing. The people getting dragged, you know, past all the other stores to get to the cars. I think people overdid it a bit, but it is one of the most picturesque little festivals. If they've stomped that issue out, it's a lovely family day out. And with all those classes, like the barbecue classes and stuff, it'd be really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I might have a look at the timetable and kind of plan out an afternoon.
Mm.
But yeah, it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, beautiful spot, beautiful spot. What else? You had Blaster Brewing.
Blaster Brewing, yeah, I was reading this article. So they've fairly recently opened a new facility near the Perth airport. And I think currently they're running at about 10% of capacity with brewing. And apparently got plans in place to get to about 40% capacity. But if they get to running at maximum capacity, they'll be doing 12.5 million liters per year, which brings them close to Good Drinks Australia as
Wow.
a measuring stick. Yeah, pretty massive.
Uh,
And
Room to move, obviously.
yeah, they must have spent a lot of money because it's all computerized and robotic packaging systems. They've got a whole bunch of pasteurization systems in there that he's trying to push to craft brewers who seem to have I don't know, doesn't quite fit into their ethos of pasteurizing beers. But if you're transporting beers across all the deserts in Australia to get to the East Coast, then that's going to help with your shelf stability.
And they
So
might be part of this ever-growing WA export to Asia route that we've discussed before as well. They might be looking
yeah,
at that. Maybe some contract brewing there as well, because that's their kit must be, or even their tanks, they must have really oversized it to for the move up into that. For it to be only running at 10% is, uh, yeah, not paying the bills for sure.
yeah. They mentioned that 40% of their current brewing is contract. Didn't mention who the contract brewers were, but so
Yeah,
yeah, about half their capacity is contract brewing already.
yeah,
Yeah, and that would also make sense that if WA is trying to do this big push into the Chinese beer market, then having someone with that amount of capacity and also the pasteurization systems, that would make a lot of sense.
yeah. You also had mountain culture. We've seen a lot of their
Yeah,
socials going.
yeah, we talked about it in the past. They took over the Fox Friday venue in Richmond, so that's opening tomorrow.
Yeah, nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've seen
Um,
a DJ did a little video today, and it looks like a great venue. I never went to it as Fox Friday.
no, I don't recall going there when I was down in Melbourne the last few times.
Yeah. Did you have any more beer news?
No, that's all I had for beer.
Lovely. We'll get on to sport then, um, because that's a little bit of news came out today for the F1 community with
Just,
Christian Horner
just
has
some
lost his
minor.
Christian Horney has lost his executive operational status effective immediately. He's still
Yeah.
employed, but he's no longer CEO or team principal. He's probably being kept on to debrief, or his contract is still till 2030, so maybe they have to pay him out or something. Laurent Mekies is taking over as CEO of Red Bull Racing, but not he was at Racing Bulls as team principal, and he was at Ferrari before then. Uh, However, the team principal for Red Bull hasn't been announced. It might be Paul Smith. And Racing Bulls has already announced that Alan Permane will be taking over the Racing Bulls. So the fact that that all got announced in the same day means that they've had all of these pieces ready to go. Um, and a couple of other head honchos in the Red Bull team have also been asked to leave. Um, I would say the question started last year with accusations of inappropriate behaviour from Christian Horner. However, they were twice found warranted, but I don't think they ever recovered from that. And Jos Verstappen, Max's dad, most likely said Horner goes or Max goes. I think he's pulling the strings with Marco and everyone there, um, which doesn't surprise me at all. They should just call it Team Verstappen or something like that. Um, I was looking through some of the stories of the in the time that Horner was there for 20 years at Red Bull, which was Formula Jaguar before. Um, they got penalised for exceeding the cost cap when that came in, and they attributed that to catering because they were winning so much they had to buy extra champagne. I thought
Yeah.
that was hilarious.
I don't think anybody believes that. It's a good
No,
joke though.
It is good. I like that. So yeah, 20 years at Red Bull, eight World Driver Championships with Vettel and Verstappen, six constructors championships, 124 race wins. But what I also found, who's left Red Bull in the last 2 years? So Adrian Newey, who was the designer, who's gone to Aston Martin. Will Courtney is the head of strategy. He's gone. Jonathan Wheatley is now, he was the sporting director, and now he's the team principal for Sauber. Rod Marshall, their chief technical engineer, is now at McLaren. And Lee Stevenson, the head mechanic, is now at Sauber. So there's been a bit of a clean out. Obviously, a lot of people aren't happy there. So could be interesting to see how that whole fiasco turns out.
Yeah, I mean, and that's some important people leading the team as well. It's not just kind of, just marketing people or like, that's some of your highly technical staff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. All that drain would have been a big loss on their technical abilities.
Yeah, they call it the brain drain because they've lost that brain trust. Key positions like strategy, designing, and technical engineer. Like you lose them, that's a big chunk of your knowledge gone. As in regards to Silverstone last week, I don't think you've watched it. I don't want to spoil it for you. It was a cracking race with lots of weather changes, but Oscar was robbed with a 10-second penalty for slowing down too fast at the restart after a safety car. He did the exact same thing on the safety car previously, but he got nicked for this one because Max overtook him, and it looked like he was braking on purpose to get Max fined. He probably didn't need to slow down that much, but he did slow down from 200 and something down to 50 k's an hour. And they usually do that to give themselves space to get up to pace and go again, and to compress the field and everything like that. So look, he got in trouble, and it cost him a race, and he probably shouldn't be doing that. But Nico Hülkenberg got his first podium
That's good.
after 15 years. He got his Lego trophy, and next race is Spa Francochamps. So that's one of those racetracks where I'd love to visit to see Spa. Yeah. And who did you have for? You watched yesterday. You were watching the Brumbies.
Yeah, I watched the ACT Brumbies play the Lions. So that was an absolute cracking match. So the Brumbies have a very good record against the Lions. So 2001 they lost by 2 points. 2013 they won by 2 points, and this year they lost by 14 points. So they've got the best record of Australian teams against the Lions. Yeah, it was a cracking match. I stayed with them till about 55 minutes.
Yep.
And then, I mean, there's only so much you can do against, a combination of all the best players from four different countries. But yeah, it
It's
was a,
even sticking with them for 55 minutes is it's a pretty big effort for an ACT team, isn't it?
yeah, it was massive. Yeah, it's really good to watch, actually. I think, I don't know if the Lions are sandbagging a little bit, but they didn't seem to be playing their expansive running game that they did against the Waratahs in Queensland. So I don't know whether they're just trying out different game tactics against against other teams now. But yeah, it's interesting. It's a complete change in play, and they've pretty much got the same players in there. So
It's a
interesting.
it's a pretty busy schedule they've got too, being over here and playing quite a few games during the tour.
I think they've got a game every 3 days. I think that's what it
That's
works out.
yeah, that's a
Massive.
fairly
Yeah.
hectic um,
Yeah.
schedule. Yeah.
Yeah, they're interviewing one of the guys after the game. And he said basically we don't get any time to train because you play the game, then you're recovering. You do a captain's run, which is kind of a light run the afternoon before the game, running through tactics and line outs and things. I said, yeah, basically we don't have time to train because you're either recovering or about to play another game.
Well, that's good for our sides playing them, and the Wallabies at the end, that'd be great.
I'm not too sure about the Wallabies. They played Fiji in the weekend, and um, I mean Fiji are one spot below us in the world rankings, and they're a really good team these days.
Yep.
So watched a lot of the reports saying the Australians were embarrassed, and um, it was they won, but it was really a loss. I'm like, well, no, the Fijians are a very good team.
Yep.
They're a very good team. They've beaten quite a few of the tier one um, rugby countries. So I'm a bit concerned about the Wallabies and their ability to cope with the Lions.
Yeah.
Not holding out for too many wins, if any, to be honest.
Yep.
But it'll be good rugby.
Just put the Brumbies in.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't watching Union. I was watching League. Obviously, the State of Origin decider. Queensland absolutely outplayed New South Wales. Field position, kicks, tackle breaks. Really cool that they could do it for Cameron Munster and Josh Papalii. But I thought afterwards the game, the New South Wales showed some really good class. Congratulating Munster and yeah, the crowd was pretty quiet for the whole game, even though it was a sellout of 80,000 plus. But
It was in Sydney, wasn't it?
yeah, at a core, which is
I know.
home. Yeah,
Yeah, that's why they were quiet then.
that was, yeah. I didn't think Queensland would do that well. Um, we always do better when our backs are against the wall. So, but yeah, I thought it was. I thought the players showed some class when they sort of thanked Munster after, he only had 2 days out of camp or something with his father passing away. So, and then Josh Papalii, coming back out of retirement, new bub at home. It was sort of a little fairy tale for him, but it was also really good for Cameron Munster and good result, good game. They just totally outplayed him. It wasn't anything to do with the ref. It wasn't anything to do with New South Wales playing particularly bad. They weren't. They were just beaten by the better side on the day. So it's a good game of sport, and they'll come out next year, and it'll be another great series.
Yeah, it's interesting. James, one of my sons, had a friend over, and they were inside watching the Origin. I was outside watching the rugby,
Mm.
and yeah, they're fairly frequently yelling the house down. So I'd look in and I'm like, oh, another try. Jeez.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
at the end, I think they'd stop watching because I was just kind of bored because the Queensland were just running rampant.
Yeah, they came back a bit at the end, but yeah, it was too late, too little, too late. And Goodwood Festival of Speed is this weekend. Something that I've always wanted to go to.
Yeah, I was saying to my wife, I've now got kind of three things I want to go. I want to go to a Formula One race in Europe somewhere,
Yep.
probably Spa,
Yeah, it's
um,
amazing.
Goodwood Festival, and the Isle of Man. That'll be my three things. So
Yep.
when we win millions of dollars,
Oh no,
that'll be my
when the podcast takes off and we get all these sponsorship, we'll do a trip and we'll incorporate those three things into our. I'll tack in another lap of the Nurburgring and make it four things there, and we'll be good. So tell us a little bit about Goodwood.
the Goodwood Festival. Yeah, it's a pretty cool story. So Lord March was had some I guess family grounds in forgetting where it is. Goodwood. It's in Goodwood. And so he was trying to get the racing starting back up again at the Goodwood circuit, but couldn't get the necessary permits. So he opened up his palatial estates to run some cars. This was in the early 90s. So um, yeah, they get a lot of guys with all these historical race cars turning up. Um, Manufacturers bring their latest concept cars. I think Ferrari's debuting four cars this weekend.
Yep.
One of which is the F80, which is a really, really nice looking car.
They're great.
Just
Sort of the grills on the back look amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really fantastic looking car. So My favorite thing to watch is the hill climb. So they have and it's just got bitumen roads through the middle of his estate, and they kind of hay bale it all off. And you've got guys going through there and like rally cars, like Subaru, ran one of their 555 rally cars through there. I can't remember which Formula One car has run through there.
Yep.
Um, yeah,
That
it's
they
just
had that McMurdy, that little fan
the
car.
Sperling McVitie.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yep,
that
yep.
was amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
that one ran through there.
Last year they had the a couple of cars. I think it was a WRX as well that had that active aero. So when it was on the brakes, you saw all the fins and stuff move, and
Yeah, yeah.
just some crazy stuff. But yeah,
And then
yeah,
you got guys banging around in like 100-year-old Bugattis and just tearing the wheels off these things.
yeah,
And they're worth millions, irreplaceable. There'll never be another car like it, and they're just tearing the wheels off it,
yeah.
doing this hill climb. I was looking at the website and I found out I don't know if they've done it previously, but they've got all live streams on the Goodwood Festival website, and but they've got some without commentary,
Okay,
so you can just listen to the cars.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
they had this Rolls Royce like airplane 16-cylinder like tractor go up there. It was firing, banging, and you could just see all the. Oh, it was just amazing. I didn't know it had a rally stage.
yeah, right up on top, which I didn't know either.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it, so yeah, they got a relic stage up top, and then there's another stunt arena where they do drifting and stunt driving. Um,
yeah.
Trying to think of the driving skill. It's not motocross.
Not like
Um,
Motorcana, sort
Rally,
of Gymkhana.
Motocana and Rallycross. Yeah, Motocana and Rallycross.
Yep.
So do that up there as well. Which yeah, I hadn't heard about the rally before, so I don't know. That's not a new thing. It's been there for quite a few years, but I've never heard about it.
I think I've only ever seen the hill climbing, and then it's like they go through the historics, one day, and they go through the concept cars the next day, and the supercars, the whatever. Like I saw the Tyrrell, they had the Tyrrell six wheeler go up once, and Ken Block and all these different famous drivers have been up there too. Um,
Yeah, the Hoonatron's been up there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's I think that's definitely on the list of going to visit because it's like a whole week or something, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, I think it's about 5 days now because I've got originally it was just the Sunday,
yeah,
then they added events on the Saturday, and then I think there's now events on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday,
yeah. No,
and
that's
then
pretty cool.
I think it ties into something else not related on the Monday after Goodwood finishes.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think it ends up being about a week or week and a half of just pure motorsports.
yeah. Gonna have to definitely put that on the list.
Sweet.
All right. So let's get this podcast going. Everyone, support us, sponsor us, and listen to our boring voices so we can go into cool shit. Oh, happy NAIDOC week too. I'm looking for some NAIDOC events this weekend. There seems to be a lot during the week, but I'm trying to find um, some events this weekend, but I haven't had much luck so far. Usually ride the bike up to Deception Bay. They usually have a NAIDOC day up there. There's one out at Ipswich, at Perga. Laidley had one today, I think. There's usually like a bush foods festival around, so if you can get out to a NAIDOC event, definitely do it. They're a really good way of supporting really good causes, but also just being part of the community and having some kangaroo tail and watching some kids dance and yeah, yeah,
I think a Bushwoods one would be cool. I might try and see if there's one around here somewhere to go.
yeah. The last one I went to was Oxley, but a lot of the events during NAIDOC work are during the week, and um, yeah, I'd have to take a day off work or something to get to them. But I'm hoping I can find something this weekend because yeah, you get musicians, artists, and then you get the food vendors and doing all the bush foods and um, you know, all really cool stuff like that. So, really good day, really fun day. If you can get out to an NAIDOC event, do
Yeah, if you find something, throw it in the group or send me a
definitely.
message.
Yeah, we'll do.
I'd be interested.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I will catch you next week. Enjoy your West Coast, and I'll finish off this Schorfer Hofer.
Cool, All right. Thanks, Luke. See you, mate.
Bye. Bye.